Now, if you're arriving here at COP27 for day 4 of this historic climate change conference, you'd be forgiven for thinking, as you walk in through the door, that solving climate change is terribly, terribly complicated. There's 35,000 people, there's hundreds of pavilions and exhibits and events, and it's all so technical and so complicated. But really, ultimately, if we want to stop carbon emissions going into the atmosphere and find a way to draw them down and restore nature, there's only 2 things we really need to focus on. The first is replacing fossil fuels as soon as possible with better alternatives, and the second is replacing animal agriculture with better alternatives. And as you walk around here, as people scratch their heads and people say complicated things, you'd also be forgiven for thinking that we don't have solutions to these problems already. But this simply isn't true. We do. We know how to do it. So let's start with fossil fuels, number 1. How do we get rid of them? Well, many countries have not managed to do this, but one country has essentially proven it's possible, and that's France. Back in the 1970s, France did something called the Mesmer Plan because it was too reliant on foreign oil. The Mesmer Plan involved building the most proven, scalable, low-carbon technology we've got, and that is nuclear energy. They built loads of it, and then they peaked up to 75% of their electricity was coming from nuclear, as meaning that their electricity grid is today as good as decarbonised. It's not fully, but it's very, very close compared to other countries. So, we've got nuclear energy. Really, what it should say over the door here is build lots of nuclear alongside a good amount of wind and solar as well, and that would solve a huge amount of our problems. And what about animal agriculture? Well, if you go inside here, the only place you'll really see it is on the menu. Meat and dairy is everywhere. But we don't need to do this. Plant-based diets are fully nutritious and eaten by millions of people around the world, perfectly fine, and they are much better for our health as well. But we now have a scalable technology called precision fermentation. Precision fermentation is a way of producing animal products, but without the huge environmental damage caused by animal farming, which today, livestock, let's be real about this, covers 28% of our planet. So, let's not overcomplicate it. Let's build a load of low-carbon energy, nuclear, wind and solar. Let's build loads of precision fermentation, phase out animal agriculture, and let's get rid of this COP27 bullshit and just get on with it.